On the topic of how to start an online school in 7 steps, and step one, write your curriculum, I want to give a practical example using what we did at Atila. So, if you recall, when we were talking about your curriculum, you want to start with a gap between what your students currently know and what your students should know. And so, for Atila, for us, this was the neck. The gap between what students should know and what they currently know is the neck. And for us, we define this as network, experience, confident, and knowledge. Then these four things is what they needed to know in order to get a job offer. And so we took that information and said, okay, well, if we can that we can fill these gaps, we can fill these four gaps through 4 lessons. And for us, this now translated into our curriculum. And so first of all, we started with mentor training. So before we even get into any teaching whatsoever, like I said, we want to make sure that the mentors are trained and they know exactly what to expect from Attila. After the mentors are trained and they know what to expect from Attila, then the students must also be trained and oriented in orientation. This is where expectations are set, and this is where Attila says, this is what you can expect from us as Attila, and this is what we expect from you as students, participants in our curriculum. And then we get onto the group classes. Now, one unique thing you'll notice about Attila is that for us, we don't just teach people how to get jobs, we also teach people how to create their own jobs because financial independence is very important. So that's why after week one goal setting, we have resume and business plan for week two, networking or marketing for week three, interview or sales prep for week four. So this is kind of a dual track for 9 to 5 and entrepreneurship track. And while this is going on, we have one-on-one mentorship happening. Now, this is something that we choose to do. You may choose to do this as well, but I generally recommend for that people that are doing one-on-one tutoring style classes or group classes to make time to meet one-on-one with students when possible. Yes, it is a bit more expensive, but the feedback we've got from students from the one-on-one mentorship has been incredible. Next is the key dates. So remember I talked about when making your curriculum, there's 2 questions you have to answer. What goes in your curriculum and when is everything happening? So the previous slide was a bit more high level. Now this one goes into a lot more detail. In fact, too much detail for the general public, which is why it's not shared with the general public. This document is used internally for us to keep track of when things are happening. When it's time for us to share this with one of our communication partners, for example, student, our program sponsors, or maybe our mentors, we then pick snippets of that information and share this with them. For example, key dates. So this slide was taken from one of our mentee orientation town halls. And at the mentee orientation town hall on page 15 and 16, we told them, these are the key dates you can expect while being part of Atila. So these key dates are taken from a longer Google Sheet that has all the key dates that we use, but just a snippet of it is shown to students so that they're not overwhelmed with information and they're shown information that they need to know on a need to know basis.